It's been a little while since we last sat down to play StoneHearth, and I thought it would be fun to dive in with some mods and see what the game's like modded. Unfortunately, it's been a while since I installed the mods, and I've yet to play with them, so this might be a complete disaster, but I love StoneHearth. It's really charming, it's really fun, it's kind of cute, and I figured probably not a bad idea to dive in and do something a little bit different to what we've done before, because we have played this game a million times on the channel. Well, not a million, it's no Cities Skylines, but we've played a lot of it, so I thought changing it up a little bit might be kind of fun. So with that in mind, let's just start up a new single-player game, and this is going to be the story of a brave band of settlers from the Northern Alliance. They are going to be living in the Highlands, which is, I believe, a part of one of the mods that we're running. It's the default home of the mountain folk, who apparently I don't have, but that's okay. We're just going to be the Northern Alliance in the Highlands, whatever that means. And we have some options here. We have peaceful, gentle, normal, and hard. I'm leaning towards gentle, because the enemies are just as challenging as on normal difficulty, but at a slower pace, and I think that might be kind of good for a series where we're kind of just going to be working out these mods. So we're going to be having a relatively gentle time, is what we're going to be doing. In terms of the roster, I'm actually not too interested in spending a whole bunch of time on this, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and say that'll do. I've not looked at any of the stats, but I'd rather just have it be completely random so that we can figure it out. And then in terms of the starting resources, I mean, we do have some choices. We have Metal Masters, which will give us a mining pick, which is its own mod. There is a mining job that we can set up with a blacksmith at some point. But honestly, what I'm thinking we might do is go for maybe the merchant caravan, so that we start with a trapper and a herbalist. We could go with a hunting party. Let's do the hunting party. We're going to do the hunting party because we can set our archers to do some hunting for us, and then the cook can obviously prepare it. So that'll be good for food, and it also means we have two people that can protect us from anything that might attack right off the bat. So we are going to be a hunting party, and then we have to choose where we're going to be starting in the world, and this is what the Highlands look like from above. And to be totally honest, I kind of like the idea of this highlighted chunk here, because we've got some nice water in there, plenty of hills and all that stuff. There's plenty of trees around as well. I know the stats on the right side of the screen say there's no trees, but that's because at the middle of the highlighted area, there are no trees. That's okay though. Actually, what about here? This entire area, this little green space in here is surrounded by these cliffs. That might be kind of fun. Let's go for that instead, and we're going to settle there, and we're going to see what it's all about. I realize this is maybe a little bit of a slower start to a StoneHearth series than we usually do, but it's been a little while since I've posted videos in general, so I figure, you know, let's reintroduce everybody to StoneHearth, and here we are in the world. And what we need to do is place the town banner. So to do that, we click down here. And I'm thinking, honestly, I'm just going to put it right bang in the middle there. That's going to give us our hearthlings. And I'm going to pause before we go any further, because we do need to have a little look at the stats that we have. We're going to want to sort by body stat for a second here. And we have Magnus and Snorri with a 6 and a 5 on their body stat, which is good, because Magnus here is going to be an archer. Having a good body stat is going to be good for health. And then I guess Snorri is a juice lover and a storm chaser. That's fine. You are also going to be an archer. Then we need to have a little bit of a look at the mind skill. And we've got Brahm here. And Brahm is going to be, I think, a mason. I think Mason is what we're going to want for that. So that way Brahm as a Mason is going to be quite skilled, you know, able to think and all that stuff. And then I guess Kendra, I mean, you are a bit of a sleepyhead, which is maybe not good for a cook, but that's what we're going to do. So Kendra is going to be the cook of the group there. Before we go ahead and run things, though, there's a couple more things I do want to do just in preparation, and some of this is going to be tied into mods, some of this isn't. One of those things is auto harvesting, and the reason I want to do that is I want to set up these bushes as places to auto harvest, because that's going to get us some food on the regular. Anytime these bushes around here are ready to be harvested from, we can go ahead and do it. It's not a big deal. As for everything else, what I'm thinking we do is we go ahead and we say that we want to just gather things, because I do want to clear out some space so that at some point we can do some building. So all of this space down here, I want to clear out. We're going to clear out this space as well, all of this, and pretty much everything around here, so that we can go ahead and have plenty of resources and space to build. So all those trees can go, including that one there. And that's going to be a lot of work for my hearthlings to do. We do have a bunch of other buttons along here as well. We have this gather and replant option, which is quite useful. So, for example, what that does, if I say gather those trees up there, my hearthlings will automatically move to replant those trees as soon as they can. We can say go and hunt specific animals. We can mine tunnels. This is base game StoneHearth here, so it's not really a big deal, but that's kind of what that's all about. Anyway, let's go ahead and run the game. We're going to see everybody go ahead and start getting their jobs, which is fantastic. We've got our archers who are pretty much going to do nothing for the time being, and I'm pretty sure we're just going to have the one hearthling out there actually chopping things down, which is not exactly ideal, but that's all right. We'll deal with it in time. While we wait, though, what I would like to do is go into the mason here and say, let's have you make a workbench. Let's have you make a splitting block. And let's see here. We're going to need you to make some beds. And to do that, we're going to need some thatch. And we also need stone bed frames, which is different. Usually, you don't need to make components like this. So again, this is part of some of the mods that I'm running. And I will, in the description of this video, post a link to a Steam Workshop collection that will sort of run you through the mods that I'm using here. It'll just have everything in there. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is queue up an order of 6, let's say 10 actually, of these stone bed frames. And then we're going to queue up an order of 10 of the stone beds, even though we don't have the materials for it yet. We can cancel that as well. And obviously, I mean, you can see here, requires a mason of level 2. So we're going to be waiting a little bit for that, which is okay. The way I'm thinking our mason can get to level 2, though, is quite simply by going ahead and crafting up, say, I don't know, 10 of these benches before the beds. I reckon by that point we can get the mason to level 2. So let's go ahead and place a couple of things. We've got the mason's workbench, which I'm thinking is going to go and live just in this corner. We've got the splitting block that can live right next to it. We have these bedrolls as well. And what I'm thinking we could do with those is maybe slice away the terrain. And maybe we dig a little tunnel just in here. And we say, let's build sort of a little safe space for the hearthlings to sleep. That might not be a bad idea. I might actually want to cancel that a little bit and do it slightly differently, though. So let's see. We'll go and say mine a tunnel. Mine there, in like this. We'll go like this. And then we'll just do something like that. So that way, if we want to expand, we can. I don't really want to build my entire settlement underground. I've done that a lot before. But I think, you know, we'll just get this going is what we'll do. We'll see what ends up happening here. Now, we do have a little notification. A figure appears. It is a stoic scout. A woman stands at the edge of the camp. She wears the travel-worn blues of a scout of the library. Nobody saw her arrive, but it's clear she's been watching for some time. Welcome, traveler. Ronia, she says, pointing at herself. Her voice is strangled. As if to explain, she pulls her collar away from her throat, revealing a mass of old scars. She gestures at her knife. I scout. Then she taps the star-shaped brooch on her cloak. For Valin's library. She speaks as much with her hands and eyes as with her voice. I am glad you have come to study and settle. Now that I know you are here, I will send tales of your learnings to the scholars at home. She steps over to the banner and touches its blank center. First, though, you must choose your symbol. What future did you foresee when you began this voyage? Her voice takes on the cadence of one reciting words spoken 1,000 times before. Valen created our alliance to share in plenty, adapt in hardship, and seek the horizon. The Northern Alliance will become one with the cycles and the stars of Hearth. She tilts her head in inquiry. Which of our philosophies does your outpost most aspire to embody? So, we have some choices to make. We have the Banner of Vitality, which will give us more wood. Plants and crops will grow faster, and plants will have 2 times their normal appeal. We could get more ore, stone, and clay from mining. Hearthlings no longer mine cramped spaces. Or 3 times speed on roads. More money from selling things. Traders bringing 2 times the goods and gold. Honestly, I feel like Banner of Vitality. And I feel like a random name here is going to be a pretty good idea. So, Astoros. Or Astoros. I like it. I like Astoros. I think that's a good name. The Banner of Vitality shall fly over Astoros. I like it a lot. That's a good name. There we go. Astoros, we get more wood. Plants and crops grow faster. They have 2 times the normal appeal. That is fantastic news. Now, while I've been reading all that nonsense, we have a lot of things just laying around. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a stockpile. And we'll just throw a big old generic stockpile right there. Let everything be stored on it. And we'll speed things up a little bit so that the Hearthlings go ahead and actually start moving things around. We also have a gift. Thank you, Ronia whispers, and from her gesture, it is clear she means for your hospitality and presence. She places a small pouch besides the banner. On its side is an emblem of the nearest large town, some days distant. Our towns are stars in the constellation of our people, she says. For you, for them, for you, from them, so that one day you will join those ranks. The bag contains 3 peasant bread, 2 mead. I love mead. I'm not gonna lie. I'll read the list first. Some roast sausage, 3 cornbread, 2 beer, and 1 sheep milk. Delicious! Ronia is now standing by the edge of the fire. She's written the town name and a brief account of its inhabitants in the white flesh of a birch bark shaving. Methodically, she commits it to the flames, which burn paler for a moment. Astoros, she intones. By Valen's wisdom and under the watchful eyes of the stars above, be committed to the records of the library. Those that matter will hear. She bows and makes to fade back into the edges of the wilderness. Farewell, she gestures. I will return for your stories. All right, we have a daily update as well, which means we can have another Hearthling coming in here, which is quite exciting. There we go. We've got Bjorn coming in to help us out a little bit, which is lovely. Yeah, I really enjoy mead. That's completely unrelated to the game, but I've recently, last couple of months, taken up drinking mead on occasion, and it's very good. It's honey mead. It's actually sort of a special edition honey mead brewed somewhere in England, I think. And it's got one of my favorite bands has like their name on it. It's called Waking the Demon Honey Mead, and it's by Bullet for My Valentine, which if you watch my streams or follow me on Twitter or my Discord, which by the way, twitch.tv/ConflictNerd, do follow. I'm live almost every day. Twitter.com/ConflictNerd. I tweet almost every day, and Discord.gg/ConflictNerd. There's a whole community of people over there, and that's all linked in the description as well. The point is, it's very nice. It's very, very sweet, and it's not something I ever thought I would really drink, but it is actually really, really good. Anyway, we do have a little bit more work to do here. We need to go into the cook, and we need to say, oh my god, there are so many different brewing things here. Brewing things. There's a lot of different cooking things here. This is going to be interesting, this mod, for sure. Let's go ahead and craft up a stone cauldron. Let's get a stone mill grinder as well. And once those are made, we can hopefully get the cook to start doing things. I'm also... Oh, we actually have some stone beds up as well. That's fantastic news. Unfortunately, the mining isn't really going ahead, but I wonder if it would maybe be an idea to have a little bit of a look into templates. Because I did go to the workshop and I did subscribe to a bunch of templates of really nice buildings. And I didn't do this so that I never have to design anything myself. But I mean, to be fair, they're very, very nice looking, where my stuff is not quite as nice. There's a blacksmith, there's carpenters, there's dining, there's houses. They're very nice. They are very, very nice. And I'm thinking, there's a multi-house here. I'm thinking I would love to try building this, because it looks really cool. It's a really nice looking building. And I could do like 2 or 3 of them up here. So let's just get a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's just have a little bit of fun and see what exactly we can do, because this might be kind of interesting. So let's place one of those there. And that requires stone, it requires lanterns and tables and window frames. I think we could do that, though. I do think we could do that. So let's give it a shot. It's going to have four beds in there, so we'll give it a build. I don't think we're going to be able to get to it right now, which is okay. So what we'll do is we'll place a ladder right there. And I think we're also going to have to go in and say, let's remove that mining zone, because I don't think we're going to need it anymore. So we'll let these guys try and build this house and we'll see what happens. In terms of the daily update, we do have the means to go ahead and bring in another hearthling, so we're gonna do that as well. We've also got a trader from the north arriving with weapons and armor for sale, which honestly, I'm not really too interested in. I don't think we really need any of that right now. We have Aaron Guthrum joining Astoros, which is fantastic news. And we also, thinking about it, probably want to go ahead and place down a little stone cauldron here. So we'll place it there. We'll put the mill grinder just next to it. And then we're going to figure out what exactly the cook can do for us. So right now, if we have eggs and we have lower grade fuel, which I guess is wood. Interesting. We actually do need wood or fuel in general for a lot of this stuff. Boiled mushrooms as well. What else have we got? We don't have many options. I think we're maybe going to want to stick with the savory meat stew. So let's go ahead and try and maintain 10 of those if we possibly can. And this is actually getting built. I was going to say fairly quickly. I mean, I guess fairly quickly is probably generous, but it's getting built, which is kind of the point. And it's going to be shelter for us. I think what we could also do is maybe throw these bedrolls down. So 1 and 2 and 3. They're directly under the stars, which is going to be fairly unpleasant, but at least some of our hearthlings can go ahead and actually sleep in a bed, what is technically a bed, I guess, rather than, you know, on the ground. I mean, they're still on the ground, but really, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, deep down, we're all on the ground. I'm sitting on a chair right now, which is on a floor that's built up, but at some level, it's on the ground, you know? I mean, if you really think about it, so it's it's fine, right? It's fine. It's all right. It's no big deal. We're all deep down on the ground and on some level or other, unless you're like, I don't know. I mean, if you're swimming, I guess, although the water is technically on the ground, therefore you're in the mass of water that's on the ground. I don't know. If you're in space, I guess it's a little bit different. What are you gonna do up there, fella? What's your plan? What are you thinking? Hey, bud. You all right? You look real angry. It actually looks like I don't know. Don't the Jawas in Star? I mean, I realize I'm saying don't the. I know for a fact they do. I'm a complete Star Wars nerd. The Jawas in Star Wars are like that face-wise, aren't they? They've got like the hoods up and you can't see their face at all, but they've just got like the eyes that you can see glowing under the hoods. It's kind of, I don't know. It looks nothing like a Jawa from Star Wars. The only similarity is the lack of face and the 2 eyes in there. But looking at it, that looks like a mouth almost. Like these look sort of like fangs or like tusks, and then that looks like a so does this thing see from its mouth? don't know. I don't know why I care. I don't. I sort of don't. I don't know. It's a bit of a realization, I guess. I'm also realizing that having someone that's super sleepy as the chef is probably, like I said, probably really not a good idea, but that's whatever, I suppose. Good news is food is being prepared. There's a bit of food kind of lying around here and there. Daily updates coming in. We could get another Hearthling. Let's bring the population up to 8, I guess. So we've got Erica, Uldra coming in. And let's have a look and see what people can do. So Erica is actually now the smartest person here and has the heart of a crafter, which is fantastic. Braum is a journeyman mason, which is good. You're doing all right. Bjorn is a professor, which is all right. What about the heart stats? So Leon could be a fighter as well. That's kind of cool. Now thinking about it, if we have a journeyman mason, that means you can go ahead and make things like a stone manger, a trough for a shepherd to serve food to animals in a pasture. That's kind of interesting. And then we've got things like the trapper's knife. Do we have... I feel like we don't have a trapper's knife right now. But we can also get the crude spindle so we can get ourselves a weaver. I think what we'll do is queue up both of those. Needs a mason's pedestal as well, so we'll queue up one of those. We'll queue up this as well. We're going to need to do some mining because we're starting to run out of stone. But then on top of that, we've got things like... we can do counters, which is really cool. We can make things out of bone. We can get a bone writing desk. That's really metal. Like, that's really metal. I hope we get someone here that likes heavy metal in this settlement because they can sit down and write lyrics to metal songs at a desk made out of bones. Man, that's metal as f***, to be totally honest.